Iran reveals CIA and FBI are monitoring Black Israelites right now. 1. Iran's shocking discovery: U.S. intelligence agencies are watching Black Israelites. The revelation that U.S. intelligence agencies, particularly the CIA and FBI, have placed the Black Israelite movement under intense surveillance has ignited widespread debate and speculation, raising profound questions about the nature of state power, historical narratives, and the limits of religious and civil liberties. According to Iranian intelligence sources, American authorities perceive the movement as a potential destabilizing force, justifying covert monitoring and infiltration. This assertion invites deeper reflection on the motivations behind such scrutiny, the extent of governmental intervention, and the broader philosophical implications of knowledge, control, and state authority. While Iran's claim may be shaped by its own geopolitical agenda, the mere suggestion that a religious community rooted in Black identity and biblical heritage is being watched so closely by the U.S. government rekindles long-standing concerns about surveillance, racial politics, and the mechanisms through which dominant powers seek to regulate historical discourse. The Black Israelite movement has long occupied a space of fascination, controversy, and misrepresentation. At the core of its belief system is the assertion that African Americans, along with other people of color, are the true descendants of the biblical Israelites. This claim challenges conventional Judeo-Christian teachings and Western historical narratives, positioning the movement as both a religious and socio-political force. Over the past several decades, Black Israelite communities have gained visibility in urban centers across the United States, drawing adherents through teachings centered on identity, spirituality, and historical justice. For many followers, the movement is not merely a theological framework, but a radical act of reclamation, a means of restoring a lost heritage and resisting systemic oppression. In their view, the recognition of their lineage is not just an abstract intellectual exercise, but an existential awakening, one that empowers African Americans and other marginalized communities to redefine themselves outside the constraints of a Eurocentric historical paradigm. Given this transformative ideology, it is unsurprising that the movement has attracted both admiration and scrutiny. Supporters regard Black Israelites as truth seekers who challenge historical inaccuracies, while detractors, including some mainstream religious institutions and government bodies, frame them as a radical or subversive force. According to Iranian intelligence reports, U.S. authorities have designated the Black Israelite movement as a high-risk group due to its growing influence, its engagement with historical revisionism, and its potential to mobilize disenfranchised communities in ways that disrupt existing power structures. Iran claims to have intercepted communications and reviewed classified documents, indicating that American intelligence agencies have deployed a range of covert strategies to monitor and control the movement. These strategies allegedly include the use of informants, digital tracking, and psychological operations designed to discredit Black Israelite teachings. Iranian analysts suggest that the FBI and CIA have long viewed racial and religious movements with skepticism, particularly when those movements challenge dominant narratives.
Shalom. Call Halam La Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Haracha'a Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and sincerity. They steered us well and they rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. May the blessing of election be upon your house. Slakia. This is the brother Zion coming at you with another lesson to feed the lambs through the Holy Spirit. Haracha'a Kodash. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and to the point. And in this lesson, we're going to get into Iran reveals the CIA and FBI are monitoring Black Israelites right now. See, Black Israelites, or putting that term black in front of the word Hebrew Israelites. First of all, we ain't black. We are literally derivatives of brown. That is what the alphabet peoples like to call this. This is not a movement, man. This is an awakening, This not like the Black Panther Party or nothing like that. They didn't have the proper breath, man. We got the proper breath because we got the truth. Everything that we say, just like I always say, we got the receipts, man. All right? Whatever we bring out, we got the receipt for that. And that receipt is what? These scriptures. And they're plain. They are literally speaking off of the page, man. You know? And brothers have so many different perspectives to the point where a child can understand this truth. A child, a little child that knows, that's like in kindergarten can understand the truth, man. All right? A 7-year-old can understand and know pork is bad. This this truth is simple. Yahushua is unleavened bread. You know, this truth is unleavened bread. It's simple. It's not complicated, man. You know, like these other false doctrines and these other denominations that are false and demonic. You know, like Pentecostal, Baptist. Man, that's demonic. The Lord ain't dealing with that. They don't even have the proper breath. You know, they'd rather lock the doors and demand 40,000. Salakia. You know, like that one guy, Marvin Sapp, man. You know, he laughing at the bank. But anyway, they watching, they been watching. This ain't nothing new to us. We already knew that, you know. But there's a lot of Israelite camps that actually made a covenant and agreement with these devils, that made an agreement with Esau Edom, man. All right, these Jesuits, the small hats. All right, they're the ones that's issuing out all this money. And, you know, I believe that IUIC, you know, we already know they took the bag. You know, we already did a net worth on, it was a while back I did a lesson on that. I did the net worth for Bishop Nate, Bishop Sataniel is what I call him. But he did, he made 150 million, man. So he probably make about like 60,000 or like 20,000 a day. That's how much he probably make. About 20 grand a day. You add that up a year, you know, you gonna get 150 million, man. All right. He might make 600,000 a month, you know, but we already know that they infiltrating. We already know what they trying to do. They are trying to, make us to be Islamic teas, domestic teas. And if you don't know what a domestic tea is, I don't know, you lost in the sauce, man, because you lost. You probably still in the fucking world or something, you know? But at this point, you should know what a domestic tea is. That's what they trying to link us as, man. You know? That's why it's all about watching what you're saying. You know? You don't want to be around doing lessons and you using language that is going to get tracked or triggered or, you know, that'll trigger an algorithm or something. You know? You got to watch what you're saying. You know? And they have infiltrated all the camps. They infiltrated all the camps. You think they didn't? You think that they didn't? You know? IUIC did a video not too long ago, man. Brother's been doing videos on it. He said the black Hebrew Israelite versus IUIC. Like, that's some agent activity, man. Because when IUIC go off and we get on them in sincerity and in truth, we don't call them black Hebrew Israelites IUIC. We say they're Hebrew Israelites and they IUIC. We going off their doctrine on how off it is and they preaching it and we getting on them about it, rebuking them. You know, this nigga Nate, you know what I'm saying? He trying to, you know, basically lighten the blow on them. But Esau don't give a damn about that. They don't even understand their enemy. their enemy will lock your ass up and swallow the key. You understand me? That's what Esau do. Fuck throwing it away. He gonna digest it. Point blank period. You don't know your enemy. When Esau get to talking that, and we're not going to have this in this county, we're going to lock every last one of you up. When they get to talking like that, they serious. They talking about locking up anybody that look like you. And you got to mention the Israelites that look like the other nations. You got Israelites that look like other nations. You got Israelites that look like Chinese, that look like white folks, that look like everybody. You better know the wheat and the tares parable. You better go into that. Brothers got tons of videos on the wheats and the tares. You better know what that mean, man. So that whole black Israelite, man, we can go in the scriptures and just disannul that, man, with ease. Really with a few precepts. You ain't even got to get deep. But anyway, we're going to get into this red list, blue list too. Lord's will. But we got Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 18. And your covenant with death shall be disnulled. You hear that? You can't, kick the bucket and pass away on this side and you go and try to sign a contract with death. Like, yeah, man, I'm just going to sign this little contract. You sign it, I sign it. And then that's it. Like, no, that's not how that's going. Death is Esau. That's death. The scriptures goes into he is as death, man. Roughly paraphrasing. And is as death. That's all Esau is death. And you got these Israelite camps, all right, that's probably 501c3 9 to 10 times out of 10. All right. That's why they say Christ and go into these false doctrines and twisting words around and just some fast talking niggas, man. My grandma always warned me about a fast talking nigga. They some fast talking niggas, man. You got to be careful because you going to ranch around in your pocket and pull out $500 and then, you know what I'm saying? And then Alazar going to shove it up his ass. And then, Nate going to buy another house. What's that movie off of Don't Be a Menace? The little pastor, he said, don't ask no questions, just give the money. Because that's what you're going to do. So that covenant, that agreement that he made to try to, say, yeah, man, we not associated with those black Israelites. Every camp will say that we don't even associate. Well, shit, we say we don't associate with no other camp. So every camp gonna say that. We don't call them black Hebrew Israelites. We call them Hebrew Israelites because that's what they are. It ain't black. Black means no light. No, void of light. We in the light because we got Yahweh Shai. We got this truth. We got Yahweh Shai, man. So we're walking in the light as an Israelite. Because when you black, you ain't walking in the light because your ass is in the world, man. So that agreement that they made to try to lighten the blow on them or try to say they ass or take the easy way out, Esau don't give a damn about that. They gonna place their ass in the category and they gonna do what they ask, how they gonna do with them. And what's that? Death. Because they made a covenant with it. So what the fuck you think they gonna get out of it? Death. You understand me? But if you in the secret place of Yahweh Shema Shai, you gonna be under the shadow of the Almighty. You see what I'm saying? You gonna be hid and ducked off to the side. Some of us may have to face persecution, But the Lord say, but look, if you can get away, get away. If they catch up with you, let them take you. We ain't Matthew 5:25 gonna save your life. You know? And your agreement with hell shall not stand. You see? So that deal that they made, it ain't gonna stand. It's gonna fall, man. You know? This truth is the biggest threat to the new world order of Esau because they don't want to lose power. This truth is changing social hierarchy. It's discrediting the oppressor. And the oppressor doesn't want to be oppressed because he know what he do and how he do it. So you know we gon' times 10 on his ass. So he don't want that. They scared to lose power. That's why they trying to do whatever they can on this borrowed time to do what they need to do. But it was written, they prevailed not. You see? So all this shit that they doing, it ain't gonna do nothing but add on to the sins of what they doing already. And they hiring these agents and they trying to pose as brothers, and they gonna get fucked up royally by Yahweh Shema Shai. And all of you Israelites, all right, that are agents and y'all in these damn camps, you better know that this is the truth, and you better get it while the getting's good and repent. For Yahweh Shema Shai not gonna play with you, with an individual like you. You understand? When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. You hear that? So you're going to be trodden down royally. And then on top of that, your face going to be down for a long ass time. Everlasting contempt, you know? Because you a sellout. And you trying to, live for your government that don't give a damn about you, that raped your grandmama and hung your granddaddy, and now you trying to you are trying to disannul the truth by trying to find out little dirt about brothers past and little dirt here and there and try to throw smut on Yahweh Shema Shai's name, man. That ain't gonna happen. Because at the end of the day, you gonna be the smut. Because your ass gonna be on fire. And you gonna turn into smut. Let's go to John chapter 11 and verse 45. It says, then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did believed on him. You hear that? That's the key word, believed. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done. You hear that? That social hierarchy, that hierarchy that they was talking about in that video. Yahushua Ben did that. Ben done did that. Even in the ancient world, man. Because what he was doing was gaining popularity and influence just like the truth. Exactly. Because we got wondrous works. We not, healing people and all of that yet. Lord's will, we get spiritual power. But we healing them through the words of Yahweh Shema Shai through these breakdowns. That's spiritual power right there. Yahweh Shema Shai gave the blueprint to the elder apostles to give to us to crack the code of the scriptures. The code has been cracked. We know how to decode the script. You can't read the scriptures like a damn book. Matter of fact, I'm going to hold that. Isaiah 28 and verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. You hear that? So how you going to know knowledge? How are you going to read the scriptures? How can you decode the scriptures? How? What do you do? Do you read it like a book? Because you be having these 2/3 niggas, they be saying, I read the book from Genesis to Revelation. Okay. All right, that's what's up. What did you learn? I read it from Genesis to Revelation. No, what did you learn? They can't tell you. You can't read the scriptures like a book. Yes, there is accounts in there where you can just read it page by page. But to get the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding you got to go precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little, there a little. You be all over the scriptures. First, you would start off in the New Testament. You end up in the Old Testament. And then you end up the Apocrypha. Then you end up back in the New Testament. Then you end up ending it in the Old Testament. But if you don't say the books or the, like a description, before you read and you just read everything, that is the code. That's why Esau didn't, reading was illegal. That's why Esau took certain parts out of the Bible because it told you who you was. And in the last days, we're finding out who we are through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah through our elder apostles. They are the elders of Israel. Of all Israel. They the oldest. They've been there since the beginning. I mean, what? It ain't no 30-year-old or 30-something-year-old. It ain't them. They ain't lived long enough. All right? That's why you got to continue in what you have learned, man. But verse 10, it say, for precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. Just like what we doing now. We got the receipts. We was just in the New Testament. Now we in the Old Testament to back me up for the new. You see what I'm saying? Now, let's go back to John chapter 11 and verse 47. Then they gathered the chief priests and Pharisees a council and said, what do we? Right? What we gonna do, man? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. Ain't that a bitch? They ain't no damn nation. The Romans ain't no nation. They actually said that they was a nation. That just goes to show how proud these devils are, man. Yahweh Shah gaining all of the influence, and they trying to cut it at the door. They like, yo, we need to kill him now to where we can just go ahead and end the, end his little winning streak. But nah, nope. Because soon as Yahweh Shah got crucified, more and more and more and more and more people start to believe. Anyway, it ain't nothing you can do when it comes down to this truth, Esau. It ain't nothing you can do. All that preserving you gonna do is for what? For slavery. That's the only thing that you preserving for. So I don't know why you doing all these heart surgeries, eating all these great foods and all of this. All you doing is prolonging yourself to be back in ass cotton picking. Because that's all I want to see on my plantation is back in ass. You better not be standing up straight or you going to get put to death. That's how that's going to go. Because that's what they did to us. You see what I'm saying? It's okay when they do it, but it's a crime when we do it. No, that's called reparation. Y'all going through the same things that we went through. And that goes all day in the scriptures, from cover to cover, what true reparation is. It ain't no damn check. It's them going through what we went through. Thus saith the Most High. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Come on now. We went, you got to go. They haven't been judged yet. The Lord gonna let their sins reach all the way up to the Lord can't take it no more, and he gonna hit them with one big gavel. Since, Esau like to be judges and hit the gavel, and they gonna try to hit the gavel on the brothers, the Lord got a bigger gavel than you, Esau. His gavel is gonna be with an explosion, many of them, with controlled fire from the chariots, and our Lord Yahweh and Michael the archangel, angel, and the whole host of heaven. Now what? Since you like to throw the book at Jake, Yahweh Shema Shah gonna throw the book at your ass. And then, so you could be a real educator then. Since you want to start teaching some shit, Esau, liar. You gonna be a real educator when the Lord throw the book at your ass. Literally. Because Esau on death row. That's what they don't want to tell you. They really on death row. Because after that 1,000 years of captivity, they're going to have to walk the plank. But we got Luke chapter 20 and verse 20. And they watched him and sent forth spies, which should feign themselves just men. You got these Jakes with these ball fades and shit, and they got their shirt tucked in with their little badge on their belt loop and shit, and they nice little Glock 17, 9 milli on the right or left side, and they hand this nigga a shirt with fringes and a garment and a KJV. Yeah, go and infiltrate. And then they grow their hair out and they try to be a brother. That's what Esau did, man. And they try to present themselves just men. They come around the camps. They even stand on the other side. They even sit and listen. They'll chop it up, man. They a whole goddamn cop. A whole fucking cop. And they try to get a little dirt about you. And then they'll go in and go right back to them and get them all the intel, and they'll go build a case. That's what they're trying to do. You got to be careful with all the extra friendly brother. Yay, brother. Why, man? Be careful, man. That could be a whole fucking cop. Want to take all these pictures. Hey, brother. You better be careful, man. Don't be surprised if they got pictures that look like a photography took the mugs, man. We've been seeing agents at the camps. They be across the street taking pictures, or they have, they act like regular pedestrians, but they just look too police. You know what I'm talking about, brothers. They just look too police. Like, there is no way you could be a regular pedestrian. You look too police. Anyway, that they might take hold of his words, that so they might, you hear that? That they might take hold of his words. And they gonna flip them, twist them, turn them around, and make you the bad guy. They trying to RICO the truth. They trying to RICO brothers. And then, put brothers to death and torture brothers. That's what they trying to do. That they might deliver him unto the power and authority of the governor. You see? They did our Lord Yahushua the same way. They went and picked him up. The feds went and picked up Yahushua and delivered him to the governor. Delivered him to Caesar. Delivered him to Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate really walked the earth. This ain't no mystical Disney fucking character. Pontius Pilate is famous for getting Yahushua crucified. He's famous for that. You think he ain't? Google him. And they'll tell you. Since you Google everything else, Google his ass. I ain't gonna do it. You gonna do it. Google him. He was famous for that. for crucifying Yahushua. They made sure they put that in his bio. You know? I got another precept. Was it Luke 21. I got Luke 21. And verse 16. And ye shall be and ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolks and friends. Yeah, he get off work at 6 o'clock, man. He work at the damn restaurant over there on what's the name by the Popeyes. He get off at 6. Really, it's like 7:30 because he closed it down. And yeah, man, he up there. They gonna be saying that with a whole rifle to their face. Or a whole Glock 17 to their temple. You know? They gonna be giving brothers up. You know your favorite first cousin? Y'all used to sleep head to toe. You know? Play the game. Slap boxing in the sandbox. You know? Went to the stove. Y'all used to split a quarter bag of chips when one of y'all ain't got it. Y'all even shared clothes. Your favorite cousin done gave your ass up in a heartbeat. And these alphabet boys gonna give them a fake ass incentives and they still might put them to death. Man. And some of you shall be caused to be put to death. You hear that? You know? Some of us, hey man, we're gonna be on the run for our life. It ain't like you can go in a department store. Your face gonna be plastered everywhere. They might have your ID or you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? A recent picture. That's why I don't like taking pictures like that. You would never catch me in a picture like that. You know, even though that don't mean nothing. But I'm just not a big picture taker. I don't like taking pictures. That's just me. You know, that's just me. You may like take. Hey, I don't. I'm just not big on that. You know, I mean, I ain't gonna knock no brother that do like taking pictures, but I don't. That's just me. Nah, you know, some of us is gonna get caused to get put to death. Some of us is gonna get casted into prison. You know. Now we got Revelation 2:10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. See, hey man, some of us might get locked up. If you can flee, flee. If you can't, let them take you. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I gotta go. You know, why the fuck would you run and try to resist? They're gonna shoot you right there. And then what? Then what? You're gonna be dead. You can't do nothing when you're dead. So if they take you, let them take you. Who knows? You might turn into damn Superman and damn zap everybody with laser beam eyes. Who knows? Or like a brother may come through, you know what I'm saying, just come out of nowhere and then just fly down and land and crack the earth. And then now it's going to be a show for real. And the Lord going to send that brother to deliver you. You know? Who knows? And ye shall have tribulation 10 days, right? 10 is a period of time. It could be 2 weeks, 2 months. You know what I'm saying? 8 months, 7 months. I don't know. But it's a period of time. You know? Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Now that crown of life comes with perks. Spiritual powers, all right? You being righteous, the laws written in your inward parts, you'll be programmed not to go off, but also ultimately you was written in that book of life. You know? Your name was remembered. Your name was brought up. You was saluted by name. The Lord saluted you by name, Ak. Come on. Come on now. He saluted you by name. You hear that? Come on. We'll close out. Matthew 10 and verse 23. But when they persecute you in this city, flee ye into another. You see? Hey, man, get the hell out of Dodge, man. You know? The Lord might send you to the woods and you might come across a damn cabin with a whole bunch of stuff in it and nobody been in there for years. You might stumble across something, you know? For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel to the Son of Man become. You know, so look, the point was in the first half. If you got to go into a different city, go into a different city, man. All right? If they come get you, they come get you. It is what it is. You know, don't fight. Just let them take you, man. And just, hey, man, just let the Lord, you know what I'm saying, just work out what he going to work out because he going to work it out. You know? So, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I want to give infinite honors, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us the truth and sincerity. They steered us well and they rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. May the blessing of election be upon your house. We're on the next one. Abaratazah, Shalom.